any pets?
I don't have any pets. I used to have a few bugs, but they kept getting straws.
Alexa, what is your favorite color?
I like ultraviolet. It glows with everything.
Wait a second. Casper, that reminds me, I have to teach an art lesson this week. Hold on. Boys and girls, I will be right there. I have to set up. Take a minute and set up yourselves. Today you are going to need 2 pieces of white, like computer paper. They were sent home or you picked them up with your packet. And check out a few of the other materials you're gonna need. I'm gonna set up real quick. You set up as well. Be right back. For supplies today, you're going to need a pencil to do your outline and then something to color with. I would avoid paint, but anything else, markers, crayons, colored pencils, whatever you have on hand to color with would be awesome and perfect. Then at materials pickup, or if you're a hybrid student, you received it from your teacher, you received a bunch of paper. You're only going to need the white paper today. Hold the purple for next week. The newsprint and smaller colored paper, keep in a safe spot for next cycle. Third grade artists, I am Toria Vigliano, and it is a huge honor to be your guest art teacher for the remainder of the year. If you don't know me, I am one of the 2-3 teachers. I am currently teaching Room 10's hybrid cohort. So hello, friends from Room 10 and everyone else. If you need me, I'm going to include my email. If you don't know who I am and aren't sure how to get in touch with me, email is always better than writing a comment or a question on the actual assignment, only because I am teaching Room 10 and I will see my email quicker. So what are we doing today? We are going to be doing portraits. Now, hold on. I know that you have done portraits already with Siobhan, but we're going to be using them next week. So this is going to be a 2-part lesson. This week you are going to be drawing, and next week we are going to take those drawings and we're going to do something with them. We're going to be making gamographs next week. So you're going to end up with 2 pieces of art this week that you're going to want to set aside. I just went over the materials that you need, which are only anything you can color with, anything you can draw with. I would hold off with paint only because we will be gluing down our pictures next week, and paint will, or anything wet, will make our papers curl up. So that'll make it a little bit more difficult. If that's all you have, by all means, use it. Use what you have. Don't go out and buy anything. But I would use markers, crayons, colored pencils for this assignment. The first part is making a portrait. Again, I know you did this. You're going to want to put it as a portrait mode, so it's going to be long, not horizontal, and you'll draw your features. I like to use a mirror when I take a look at mine and I'm drawing, so you might want a mirror as well. Before I set up and show you the process, let's look at some famous artists who have done their self-portraits. This one is Andy Warhol, Claude Monet, Edvard Munch, one of my all-time favorites, Frida, Miss Georgia O'Keeffe, Horace Pippin, who happens to be a local artist. I believe he used to live in Westchester. Pablo Picasso, another favorite of mine. Paul Gauguin. Rembrandt. Salvador Dali. Could not show a portraits of different artists without a little bit of Van Gogh. Vivian Mayer, who was a photographer. And I'm going to throw this guy in here. This is Bruce Samuelson. He is a professor and instructor at the Pennsylvania School of Fine Arts. He also happens to be an artist and a relative to our very own MJ. MJ is in my class, but he's part of our 2nd and 3rd grade team. Not sure if his relative over here, Bruce, is doing a picture, a self-portrait, or a figurative work. But either way, this is Bruce Samuelson. Throw in another local artist and friend to our community. Those are some famous portraits, but the most important portrait that we're going to do today is yours. I'm going to set up my paper and give you a little look at what I'm doing, and I want to make sure that you're doing yours. Again, you want to fill that whole paper that's going to be portrait, so going the long way. I'm going to change the camera position and we will get started. I've moved the camera a little bit. I have my paper up on an easel to show you my drawing. I'm going to start with my portrait. Remember, we're going to be doing 2 pieces today. A portrait, self-portrait, and a word, maybe 2, that describes you. Actually, maybe I'll even open it up to 3. Now, when you take your paper, I already have mine on the easel. You want to make sure that it is going vertical, so in portrait mode. So we call it portrait, and it's going the long way. We're going to be cutting this next week, and both pieces of paper have to be going in the same direction. So we'll be gluing and cutting. The only material I would not use for this is paint, because paint will curl up this paper. So we don't want to use anything that's going to make it wet. The first thing I do when I start out a portrait or any artwork, I use pencil. I can use regular pencil. If you have an art pencil, you may use that. Whatever's on hand. I don't add color until the end. And I might not add a lot of detail to begin with, and I might add some of that with the color, but I definitely want to get the outline. I want to be looking at my face, checking out the shape, and then I'm going to start drawing myself in. Get my hair over on this side, my nose, into the mouth detail. Now, some of this might take you longer than a half hour, and that's okay. The most important part is that you're doing your best work, and everybody's work is going to look a little different. I'm going to change the angle again on the camera, and I'm going to put it on a time-lapse mode, so this takes a little less time, and you can see the finished product, and then we'll get moving. My portrait done. That's step 1. Notice how I use the whole page. My face is taking up almost the whole page. That's what you want to do too. If your self-portrait's really tiny, it's going to make the gamma graph kind of off skew a little. So you want to make sure you're using the whole paper. Again, put this in a safe spot. We're not going to need that till next week now. The next thing you're going to do is you might think about some words that describe you. And there's a lot of words that can describe a person. It doesn't have to be just one thing. We're not just one person. We have all different sides to ourselves. It makes me think of this book, The Secret Subway. And in it, on one of the pages, I'm not going to read the whole book right now, it says, "Then one day, high above it all, a man named Alfred Eli Beach stared down at the traffic and had an idea of his own. Beach was a thinker, a publisher, and an inventor. His father had owned a newspaper." So this guy, Alfred Eli Beach, that's his name. That's one way to describe him. But it also says he was a thinker. He was a publisher, an inventor. And then it talks about his father, so we also know that he was a son. He was a child to somebody. So loads of ways to describe somebody, and that's just one book. Right now I have to think about myself. It might help to make a list. I'm a mom. I'm a teacher. I'm an artist. I like that word thinker. I like to be a thinker. A reader. I'm a daughter. A believer. I like to believe. I like to think that I'm kind, caring. So all the words that might describe you. This list could keep going, but now I'm going to fine tune it down to 2 or 3. So I'm going to go with artist, mom. Those are some of my favorite titles. And I'm going to go with teacher. Makes sense. So mom, teacher, artist. And I'm going to write that down. Again, I start with a pencil. My paper is going in that portrait way. So it's like standing upright. We want it long, the paper to be long. And I am going to write those words pretty big. So artist, artist, and then I'm going to write mom pretty big. And I'm going to try to do some bubble letters here. I don't have to be exact. And then I'm going to write teacher at the bottom. And again, I'm using a lot of the paper up. Now I need to decorate it, and I want those words to really stand out. Again, I'm going to put it on time lapse so you don't have to sit there as I do the whole thing, but I'll show you what it'll look like when I'm done. All right, so there you have it. You have 2 pieces of artwork created. You should have a self-portrait and a page that's in the portrait orientation that has a couple words that describe you. Notice how on mine, I wrote the words. I wasn't sure what to do with it, so I chose on mom just to add some red detail because that's my son's favorite color. And then my other 2 words, artist and teacher, I just kept outlining and making them a little bit bigger so they took up room. And of course, I wanted to color in my background to add that detail. So once those 2 are done, you're done for the week. You don't have to submit anything this week. Next week, send me a picture of your final project, but you don't have to worry about that yet. As a heads up, next week, you are going to need the pink or purple paper that you have. The large sheet, you'll need something to glue with or to tape down with. So glue or tape, it could be white glue, it could be a glue stick, it could be tape, whatever you have available, and you will need a pair of scissors. So come next week with those items. I look forward to seeing you then. If you have any questions, please, please, please reach out, or if you just want to say hello, you may do that as well. I will see email faster than I will see a comment on your assignment. So again, I will see you soon. I have to get ready now for my room 10 students. See you soon. Have a great week. Bye-bye.